Hello guys, how are you? I hope all of you are safe and sound. Today we are going to start our first tutorial class of ME 4210, that is a 3D solid modeling and assembling lab. So in the last class I have discussed about the importance of computer-aided design, and I've also discussed that SolidWorks is one of the most popular CAD software available right now. So we are going to use this software to draw some very cool features. We are going to make some very cool designs of engineering things that we see throughout the entire semester. So as it is the first class, I will draw some very simple features. Okay, so we will start with this. We'll learn the basics. Then when we are ready, we'll go to we'll go to designing uh, some complex geometries. Okay, so let's start. We are going to follow a manual that we have prepared for this lab. Okay, so I have the soft copy available with me. So I think you can see the this PDF file, that drawings that we are going to draw today. Okay, so I'm going to zoom it a little bit. Okay, so I will show you how you can draw all these four figures in SolidWorks one by one. Okay, so these four drawings I will show you how to do this in SolidWorks. So I first I want I will request you that you take a snapshot of this window. Okay, then transfer this image to your mobile, and keep it in front of you, and keep this image open in your mobile, and hold the mobile in front of you, then follow my tutorial. It will be helpful for you. In that way you will understand better. Okay, so let's start with the first this figure. Let's start with this, then I will move to the all of the four drawings one by one. Okay guys. Okay, so now if you open SolidWorks for the first time, you will see a window like this. So I'm using SolidWorks 16, so it looks like this. I think it will look almost similar in all the available versions of SolidWorks that you have. Okay, so first of all, let's go to this icon, click here, select new, then create, click on this part. Yeah, you can create three type of SolidWorks document: part, assembly, drawing. We will go through this assembly and drawing document later. So for the time being, we are going to stick to this part document. Select OK. Okay, so okay, now our drawing environment is ready. Now you want to before drawing any figure, okay, so you need to select a plane. You see, there are three planes available in this menu bar of left hand side: front plane, top plane, and right plane. Right? So we need a plane to draw some figures. Remember, in your manual drawing, you draw the figures in a blank sheet, right? So selecting a plane is like selecting a sheet to draw to draw the figure. Okay, so since we are in a virtual drawing environment, that is SolidWorks, here we are going to select a plane, either front plane, top plane, right plane. So selecting plane is plane for drawing 3D geometry is very important. You should understand which plane you need to select first, the front plane, top plane, or right plane. Okay, you can also other than these three available plane: front plane, top plane, right plane, you can define a plane by yourself also. Okay, so the plane selection is very important for drawing 3D objects. So right now, since we are going to draw some very simple 2D geometries, so let's select any of this plane. Okay, so for the time being, I will select front plane. Okay, when the time comes, you will automatically understand that which plane you need to select. So for the time being, just select this front plane. Okay, so since we are going to draw on this front plane, okay, so we are, if you right click on the front plane, Okay, so you will see an option to make it normal. You see, when you select the front plane, it's kind of it's at an angle. Okay, not it is not right now. It is not perfect for drawing. So we need to make it normal to start drawing. Okay, so you see now the front plane is like is parallel to our monitor, so we can draw on this right now. So before drawing, okay, you see if you go to the sketch menu, you see okay, so you cannot start sketching right now. So to sketch, you have to click here. Okay, you have to see whether this is checked or unchecked or not, checked or unchecked. If this is unchecked, then you cannot draw on this plane. You see, at this moment, this button is not checked, so that's why we cannot sketch on this plane. So in order to sketch on this plane, we need to select this. You need to check this button. You see, right now we can sketch on this. So when you click on this button, you see an origin has appeared here. Okay, origin means from here you should start your drawing. You can it's always a good practice to start your drawing from the origin, which will be helpful later, but it's not necessarily actually for the figures we are going to draw today. It's not necessarily important that you should exactly start from the origin, but it is always good practice to start your drawing from the origin. Okay, so now if you see in this first figure, okay, it's you kind of see that it's a stepped this figure has some steps here. Okay, so it's a very simple figure. So what I'm going to do, it has some dimension here. The total length of this figure is 46 millimeter. One thing to mention that all of the dimensions that you see here, all of the dimensions are in millimeter. Okay, now okay, so now we are ready for drawing. Okay, before starting your drawing, you need to see what dimension you have selected for drawing in SolidWorks. So you can always check dimension in here. You see right now the dimension we will be giving to our figure is in mmgs, that is millimeter gram second. So this is the option that we desire. So if you see, if you have any other option is selected here like IPS, CGS, MKS, so I request you, please change it to mmgs before starting your drawing. Okay, so you need to check it at first. So we, in our case, we have already have this option selected, so we will proceed. Okay, so now at first I'm going to make this figure roughly without any dimension. So you see, so for drawing this figure we need to select line here from here. So I will start from the origin. So I will roughly create this figure without any dimension at first, then I will give the dimension. So I will start here. Okay, so as you see, as I am moving my cursor, there is a yellow mark appeared just beneath my cursor. So that indicates that we are drawing a perfectly horizontal line. Okay, so okay, let's do it roughly at first. Okay, you see, as I am drawing the vertical line, the yellow sign is also appearing. That means I am drawing a perfectly vertical line. If you see, if you deviate from there, you see the yellow sign is not there. That means we are not drawing a vertical line or horizontal line actually. Okay, so let's make this figure with roughly. Okay, then I think we have this. Okay, see, like automatic auto completion light is appearing. So I will just connect here. Okay, so you'll click OK. So you see, our this is the figure that we are to draw. Now we need to give dimension here. Okay, so I'll click OK. Now it's not according to the dimension, but we need to give the dimension here. So to give the dimension, we are going to select this button, this option, that is smart dimension. Okay, so you see, when I have clicked the smart dimension, it is automatically selected this edge. So if you look at the figure, in your figure in your mobile phone. Okay, so you see the dimension of this edge is 18 millimeters. So okay, so we'll give this dimension later. Now at first let's give the dimension of this edge. So it is, as you see, just click here. So the dimension of this edge is 46 millimeter. So I will click enter. So you see it's now 46. Okay, so now I want to give dimension to this edge. So if you look at the figure, the dimension is 5 millimeters. So I'm going to select 5 here. Similarly, the dimension from if you look at the figure from here to here is 10. So I'm going to give dimension between this line and this line. I'm going to select this line first, then I'm going to select this line. You see, now I can give dimension to this between these two lines. So just click here. Now provide the dimension. So it is 10 millimeter. Okay, pretty cool. Now the dimension between this line and this line is how much? See, if you can look at the if you look at the figure, you see it's 18 millimeter. Okay, okay. So now we have given dimension to this vertical edges lines. Now I am going to give the horizontal dimensions. Now see, this dimension is how much? If you look at the figure, you will see this one is 21 millimeter. Enter. Now the dimension between this point and this point is how much? If you look at the figure, it is 32 millimeter. Okay, now the dimension between this point and this point we have already given. You will see this is 46. So since that we have already given the dimension, so SolidWorks will not let you change this dimension. Okay, so we are going to cancel it. Okay, so that completes our first drawing. Here we have drawn a stepped figure. Okay, so this 2D figure. Now in SolidWorks, since our course name is 3D Solid Modeling and Assembling. Okay, so obviously we are going to draw 3D geometries, but you have to remember that before drawing 3D geometries, you must make a 2D sketch. Okay, so without the 2D sketch, you cannot make 3D. So just to show you how what will be the 3D object of this 2D figure. We will come to this later, but for the time being, I will show you what will be the 3D geometry of this 2D figure that we have just drawn. So to make it 3D, we will go to features. You will select extrude boss base. You see, can you see how does it look like? So you can either extrude in this direction or you can change the direction. Okay, so just click here. So you see, can you see the 3D object that we have just drawn? So to see the isometric view, just go to here and select this option. So you see we are seeing the isometric view right now. So now if you can recall your manual drawing classes, that it was very hard even to draw this geometry, okay, in your manual drawing sheet, but now you see how easy it is to draw these objects in SolidWorks. Okay, so that completes our first drawing. Okay, so see you in the next drawing. Hello everyone, welcome again. So right now we are going to draw the second figure, this drawing number 2. Okay, so we are going to draw that in SolidWorks. Okay, so now at first go to your SolidWorks, select front plane. You can choose any plane, but we are going to select the front plane. Now one thing I forgot to mention in the previous session, that you need to save your drawing at first before starting the drawing. Okay, save your drawing. So to save your drawing, whatever you will draw, to save this your drawing file, you go to here, click save as. Now I'm going to select my desktop. Okay, so give this a part a name. So let's call it tutorial 1. then drawing 2. So okay, so at first save it. You see the extension of this drawing is SLDPRD. It's a SolidWorks file system. You should not change that. But the name of your drawing is T1D2. That means tutorial 1 drawing 2. Okay, so save it at first. Now to start drawing, right click on your selected plane, click normal. Okay, you can actually move the wheel of your mouse to move this plane in and out. So I think this position is best for me. So I will click on this button. That means now since I've selected that, it will enable me to sketch on this plane. Now we are going to draw this figure in a pretty smarter way. So if you see here, the figure that we are going to draw is symmetric around this line. Okay, this is symmetric around this line. Now if you can recall your the knowledge from manual drawing class, that this line is a center line, right? Center line, they help us construct geometries. Okay, they are not part of, it is not part of the figure itself. Okay, so since it is center line, from the shape I can understand that it is center line, because it is not a solid line, it is dash dotted line. So since it is center line, it automatically tells us that this line divides the geometry, divides the drawing into two equal parts, this one and this one. Okay, so they are symmetric. Now if we can draw any one, if you can draw any one of this side, then we can actually automatically reproduce the other side. Okay, so we will see this. Now if this line is the half of this entire line, that if from here to here the dimension is 50, then from here to here the dimension is going to be 25 millimeter. Okay, similarly from here to here the dimension is going to be 40 millimeter. Okay, so we will see this. Now let's go to SolidWorks. Okay, at first I'm going to draw a center line. That is our construction line here. It's not a part of this figure, but it will help us to do things. Okay, so always start from the origin. Okay, draw a center line, maybe up to this. Okay, so you see, whenever you've clicked that, whenever you have clicked here, this line icon, it's not finished actually. So we need to select the solid line from the menu bar. So to escape out of this, I will click the escape key in my keyboard. So you see, now we are free to select any other options. Okay, so right now click on the line option. Okay, so I'm going to draw this right half. Okay, so I will draw this at first. Okay, I will just at first I will draw it without any dimension, then I will provide dimension. See, let's say I'll make a horizontal line. Okay, click here, then click up to this, click escape. Okay, now it seems like we have drawn the right hand side of the geometry. So now we did not draw it according to the dimension. So to give the dimension, go to the smart dimension. Okay, now we are going to specify the angle. Okay, at first we are going to specify the angle. See, if you look at the drawing sheet, you see the angle between this line and this line is how much? Is 60 degrees. So at first we are going to give that. So to give the dimension of this angle, at first click on this line, then click on this line. You see, now we can give an angle here. So it is 60 degrees, so we are going to change to the 60 degree. Okay. Now the dimension between dimension of this line is how much? Is 25 degree, half of the entire dimension. It's 25 millimeter. Okay, now the vertical, now the dimension between this line and this line is how much? If you look at the geometry, it is 20 millimeter. Okay, it is 20 millimeter. Again, the dimension between this line and this line is how much? Is 50 millimeter. Okay, so 50, 20, 60 degree and 25. Okay, and another dimension is missing, that is dimension of this line. So how much is it? Is that if the entire since we are drawing only half of that, half of the entire figure, then the dimension of this line will be 40 millimeter. The entire length was 80 millimeter if you look at the figure here. Okay, so yeah, we've drawn this part. Okay, so right now, as I have promised you, I will generate this part automatically by using a simple trick. So we have drawn everything according to the given dimension here. Okay, so we have drawn everything. So now I will generate the other half automatically. So for that, we are going to use an option that is called mirror entities. Okay, so now see, if you look here, this this part is like a, this side is like a mirrored version with respect to this line. Okay, so if you hold a mirror here. Okay, so let's you have drawn this side. Okay, now if you place a mirror in the along this center line, you will see the other half of this other half of this side will be seen behind the mirror. Okay, if you stand in front of a mirror, you see yourself behind the mirror, right? Similarly, if you place this figure this side in front of this mirror, you will see the other half behind the mirror. So so here your mirror is the center line. Okay, so we are going to select the mirror entities here, mirror entities. Now our mirror is the center line. Okay, so here you have an option mirror about, that means where is your mirror. So I will select this box, then I will click on this line. So SolidWorks will understand, okay, whatever our mirror is in this line, in this center line. Okay, now entities to mirror, what we are going to place in front of the mirror. Okay, so at first click on this box. Now select the entities, that means the lines or the whatever things you have drawn, what you want to mirror, select them. Okay, at first check this box and select on the entities. Click here, you will see a preview of the sketches that will be done. Okay, select here, select here, select here. Okay, now click OK. You see the entire thing has been generated. Okay, if you have to check, if you see here the dimension, total dimension was 80. So if you can check that, go to smart dimension, click on this line, you see the dimension is indeed 80. Okay, so let's complete our drawing number 2. See you in the next drawing. Okay, and do not forget to save your drawing, and in fact save your drawing repeatedly. If your SolidWorks suddenly crashes, then you are going to lose the whatever you have done. So it's a good practice to save your drawing frequently. Okay, so see you in the next drawing. Hello guys, welcome again. Now we are going to draw the drawing number 3 here. As you can see, we are going to draw this figure. So just like the previous, as in the previous drawing number 2, we used the mirror entities to reproduce uh, another part of a symmetrical figure by drawing one part of it. Okay, so in the previous drawing, we draw this part, and the other part, other side was automatically generated by the help of mirror entities. So similarly, we are going to follow the same approach for drawing number 3. But notice one thing, unlike previous drawing, there is no center line. Okay, but just by looking at the figure, we understand that this figure is symmetrical around a vertical line at this point. Sorry, I could not draw a perfectly vertical line here. So you can easily see that from this here. Okay, if you draw a vertical line through this peak point, then the figure will be divided into two halves. So what we are going to do, we are going to draw this half, and we will generate that other half automatically by the help of mirror entities. Okay, so there is no center line, but we can imagine one obviously. So I'll draw this half. Okay, so I request you take a snapshot, transfer the snapshot to your mobile, and hold the mobile in front of you, see the image, and follow me along the follow me follow with me along the tutorial. Okay, so let's go to SolidWorks, select front plane, front plane, go to sketch, then check the dimension, whether is it in mmgs or not, make it mmgs. Now go to save as, save your drawing. Okay, because it is tutorial 1, drawing 3, so save it. Okay, just save it. Now go to sketch. Okay. So at first, draw a center line from the origin to some point, a vertical line. Okay. Now click the escape key. Now select line. Now draw the right half of the figure. So at first I will draw it without any dimension. Then after I am done drawing, then I will assign dimension to it. So a horizontal line up to this point, then the inclined line, then I will go up a bit. So inclined line. Make sure these 2 points are aligned. This point and this point, 2 points are aligned. So click here, and I will go here some distance. Okay. Then I will draw the triangle image. Let's click. Now let's assign dimension. So it pretty much look like that we have drawn this half. This half. And now let's assign dimension. So the dimension of this total, the length of this, the total length of this figure was 100. So from this point, what will be the dimension? Dimension will be from here to here. The dimension will be 50 millimeter. So it's first here, and the height of the figure is, you see, 60 millimeters. So at first assign this dimension. Go to smart dimension. This point and this point, dimension so it was 50 millimeter. The height of this figure was it was 60 millimeter. Now smart dimension. Now you see from the vertical distance between uh, these 2 points, these 2 points is, if you look at the figure, is 30 millimeter. Okay, I'll show you. This 30 millimeter is this distance, the distance dimension between this point and this point. That's what I have said right now. Okay, so it is 30, and if you look at the figure again, the dimension between this point and this point is 20 millimeter. So set this one 30, 20, 50, 60. Now what is the dimension of this line, this portion of the line? As you see, this figure is symmetric around this center line. Now the dimension of this line, this particular line is not given, but since the figure is symmetric, we see the dimension of this line is given here. Okay, this is symmetric. This line is and this line is equal because the figure is symmetric. So if the dimension of this line is 20 millimeter, then the dimension of this line will obviously be 20 millimeter. Okay, so we can set this here as 20. and the total width of the notch is, if you click here, the total width of the notch is 30. As you see, the SolidWorks will automatically detect it is 30 millimeter, because we have already set the uh, uh, half width of the figure is 50 millimeter. If this is 20, then the SolidWorks will automatically select it as 30 millimeter. Now, as a matter of, you need to notice that uh, this peak point, this okay, I will call it a lower vertex. This lower vertex should be in the middle uh, of this distance. Okay, it should be in the middle of this distance, this 30 millimeter. This vertex should be at uh, 15 millimeter. Okay, it should be in the middle. So to set that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to set the distance between uh, horizontal distance between this point and this point is it should be 50. You see, currently it is 16.65. So if I set it 50, you will see this lower vertex will be exactly at the middle, 30 millimeter distance. So set it to 15 millimeter. You see, now it looks it looks more like our figure, desired figure. Okay, so let's move this dimension here just to make it clear. Now I think we are uh, we are done with drawing, but one thing I did not do here. I forgot one dimension, that is the dimension between this point and this point. Okay, the total depth of the notch should be, if you see the figure, it should be 20 millimeter. So I'll double check it. Here you see the depth of this triangular notch is 20 millimeters. So that's what I forgot to actually give it first. So double check whether you are correct or not. Width is 30 millimeter, this arm is 20 millimeter, this depth is 20 millimeter, entire height is 60 millimeter, and the dimension between these 2 points, vertical dimension is 30 millimeter, is 20, and entire one is 50. Okay, now we go to the mirror entities option. Now, where is our mirror? Our mirror is the center line. Okay, so at first check this box, mirror above. Click here. Line, you see, line one will be selected as a mirror. Now, click on this box, entities to mirror. Now, click on the entities that you want to mirror. Okay, so click here, 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 click here, click here, click here. So you see, a nice preview will be generated. So click OK. Okay. Now our entire figure, the figure that we want has been reproduced. So it's very useful to use the mirror entities operation. So if you want to check that whether the total width is 100 or not, you can check this. Go to smart dimension, uh, click on this line, and this line can see the total distance is 100. Okay, so same. That's all about this drawing of the figure. That's all about drawing the figure number 3 in your manual. See you in the next one. Welcome again, everyone. Now we are going to draw the drawing number 4. This one we are going to draw. Now this is a pretty simple drawing. Okay, so again, take a snapshot, transfer the figure to your mobile, and see the figure in your mobile and follow me along with the tutorial. Okay, so I will go to SolidWorks right now. Select a front plane, normal. First, save your document. Go to Save As. Rename it as Tutorial 1, Tutorial 1, and drawing number 4. Save your document. Now, the front plane is selected. Uh, select Sketch. At first, let's make the outer portion of the figure. So at first, we shall make this outer portion. Then we shall draw the circles. Okay, so let's make the outer portions. So select line. I will start from here. We'll start from here. horizontal line, then a vertical line, an inclined line at some distance. Then I will go up to this point, then I will complete the geometry. So it's complete. Now let's assign dimension. Go to smart dimension. Now if you look at the figure, that this dimension is 90 millimeter. So make it 90. Now the height of this figure is 60 millimeter. So write 60 here. Also, the dimension of this edge is 30 millimeter, and the dimension of this edge is also 30 millimeter. So let's double check: 30 millimeter, 60 millimeter, then it's 90, it's 30. Now we have to make these four circles here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you see, in order to draw any circle, we need to specify a center point. We need to specify this center point here. Now, these center points are, you see that this center point is specified by the help of two center line. Okay, the center of a circle is specified by the intersection of two intersecting center lines. So these center lines, they are not part of the geometry that you are saying. It's just these center lines are there just to help you understand that the center of the circle is here. Okay, so the center line, their construction line. So how many center lines are there? If you notice in the figure that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 center lines, 2 horizontal center lines and 3 vertical center lines. Now at first let's create those center lines, and you see these center lines, they are at a certain distance from each other. So we will specify this distance later. So first let's make these 5 center lines. Now go to the drop down menu of the line option, select center line. Now I will there are two horizontal center line, and another one is here. I will just draw here. There are 3 vertical center lines. So draw these 3 center lines first, then we will do the rest of the things. The third vertical center line we will draw here. Okay, so it's vertical. Now we have to assign the distance between them. If you look at the figure, you will see that the distance between the this line their vertical distance, they should be, if you look at the figure, it should be 15 millimeter, and the vertical distance between these two center lines should be 30 millimeter. Again, the horizontal distance between this line and this center line should be 15 millimeter, and the horizontal distance between this center line and this center line should be 30 millimeter. Okay, specify it. Now, and the horizontal distance between this center line and this center line is 20 millimeter. Okay, so now our center line is at the desired distance from each other that we want. Okay, now we have to draw the circle. We have to draw four circle, one here, another one is here, another one is here, another one is here. Now, if I zoom out a bit, you see, uh, if I want to draw a circle at this point, okay, uh, we know this is the center of our circle. But to draw the circle, you have to select this option, this circle option first. So whenever you go to this position to draw the circle, a center point should appear. Okay, so now you see the center point is not appearing. So if it doesn't appear, then we have to do one additional task. Okay, so that is go to trim entities. So what the trim entities does, it helps us to uh, remove some feature. It acts like a rubber. Okay, so if you draw something with your pencil, you use the eraser to erase that one. So this trim entities, it does the same function. Now, if you select on the trim entities and left click above the, I want to remove this portion of the line. So if you left click above the line and drag through it, you see this portion of the line will be removed. And at the same time, a point will appear here. Okay. Now we can also draw a circle at this point. Okay, just draw a circle. Okay, again, you need a point also here. So again, go to trim entities, erase this portion. You see, there is a point will appear. Go to circle option and draw a circle. Also, you need to draw two circles here. Similarly, the center point is not appearing. Again, go to trim entities and left click and drag through this line. You see, this portion will be removed, and at the same time, two center points will appear. Go to circle and draw two circles here. Okay, now it's time to give them dimension. The dimension of each of the four circles is 10 millimeter. If you look at the figure, so I will give that. Just click on the circle. The SolidWorks will automatically understand. The smart dimension will automatically understand that it's a circle. You are assigning the diameter. It's also 10 millimeter, and it is also 10 millimeter. So I think that completes the figure that we wanted to draw. So it also completes our first tutorial. So that's all about the first tutorial. Inshallah, I will see you in the next class. Thank you for joining.